Hey everyone. So, if you've ever heard the term fail forward and fail fast and thought, yeah, it's a great concept, but the reality is it doesn't feel very good and failing just really is, well, kind of frowned upon and certainly not a positive experience in school or work, I know what you mean. So, I've heard a lot about this recently, particularly in looking at entrepreneurship and how um, those experts and those who speak about this area say, don't worry, you're going to fail. You're not going to have all the ideas in the beginning, your first product, your launch, or such, and you can expect that. That's fine. I get that. And I also understand that it might be a little bit easier to see failure as a learning experience, like our friend Thomas Edison, who didn't fail 10,000 times with trying to create a light bulb. He just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. Got it, embrace it, and such. But I couldn't help but wonder about the perceptions of failure uh, in the workplace, which, in my experience, really isn't taken very well. It's frowned upon, and failure in school. As an educator, I know how hard it is when children struggle with learning a new skill or learning to try things out or having to do a particular assignment or project a certain way. And that's a whole nother video. But I thought about what is really the arc of failure in one's lives. And being an educator from literally birth to college age, I know that really starts when we're babies. And when you observe those little ones, like when a baby starts to learn how to take a pacifier and put it in its mouth, very often it'll miss the first time or the second time. And the baby just doesn't drop the pacifier and say, well, no binky for me. Or when you watch a child learn how to crawl and then start to pull themselves up and take a couple steps, very often they plop right down. Um, and what do? They don't just sit there and say, well, I guess I'm not going to be a walker. No, they pull themselves back up and we encourage that and we clap them and say, come to me. And all those developmental milestones, if you really look at children birth to 5 and even beyond, but in those early years when it really comes innately inside them, right? They have that grit. They have that perseverance. They have that determination. They know what they want. The contrast starts to come is what when they want is different than what we want them to do. And I think that's where it really begins. And then when we enter school, like I said, as an educator, I've seen this so many times that, kids just experience difficulties and challenges. And I know failing is not a good thing. So I'm thinking, how can we go back to our roots as a baby and a toddler and a preschooler? And just go back to feeling that sense of grit and perseverance and trying and trying and trying again till we get the skill or we get the project the way it's needed to be, or we complete the task that we want to complete in that goal, and seeing that it really isn't failure at all. It's really about trying and learning and exploring multiple pathways. So, this has been on my mind. I would love to hear your thoughts about this, about failing forward, failing fast. What do you think about it in your own practice? And I'm really thinking about how we can begin to change perspectives, hearts, and minds in schools and the workplace to seeing that exploring and learning and trying, using creativity and imagination and idea aiding and innovating is really a good thing, and not being afraid to make mistakes or of the perception that we think that others may not think we know what we're doing or such. How can we begin to change that? Love to hear your thoughts. Super grateful. Have a great day.